Canto 32. At the base of the well, Dante finds himself within a large frozen lake. Cocytus. The ninth circle of hell. Trapped in the ice. Each according to his guilt. Are punished sinners guilty of treachery against those with whom they had special relationships. The lake of ice is divided into 4 concentric rings, or rounds, of traitors corresponding, in order of seriousness, to betrayal of family ties, betrayal of community ties, betrayal of guests, and betrayal of lords. This is in contrast to the popular image of hell as fiery. As Chardy writes, the treacheries of these souls were denials of love, which is God, and of all human warmth. Only the remorseless dead center of the ice will serve to express their natures. As they denied God's love, so are they furthest removed from the light and warmth of His Son. As they denied all human ties, so are they bound only by the unyielding ice. This final, deepest level of hell is reserved for traitors, betrayers and oath-breakers. Its most famous inmate is Judas Iscariot. Round 1 Cana. This round is named after Cain, who killed his own brother in the first act of murder. Gen. 4-8. This round houses the traitors to their kindred. They have their necks and heads out of the ice and are allowed to bow their heads, allowing some protection from the freezing wind. Here Dante sees the brothers Alessandro and Napoleon degli Alberti, who killed each other over their inheritance and their politics sometime between 1282 and 1286. Camasian de Pazzi, a Ghibelline who murdered his kinsman Ubertino, identifies several other sinners. Mordred, traitorous son of King Arthur. Vanni de Cancellieri, nicknamed Focaccia, a white Guelph of Pistoia who killed his cousin, Detto de Cancellieri, and Sassel Mascheroni of the noble Toschi family of Florence, murdered a relative. Camasian is aware that, in July 1302, his relative Carlino de Pazzi would accept a bribe to surrender the castle of Piantrevene to the blacks, betraying the whites. As a traitor to his party, Carlino belongs in Antinora. The next circle down, his greater sin will make Camasian look virtuous by comparison. Round 2 Antinora. The second round is named after Antenna, a Trojan soldier who betrayed his city to the Greeks. Here lie the traitors to their country, those who committed treason against political entities, parties, cities, or countries, have their heads above the ice, but they cannot bend their necks. Dante accidentally kicks the head of Bocca degli Abati, a traitorous Guelph of Florence, and then proceeds to treat him more savagely than any other soul he has thus far met. Also punished in this level are Buoso di Eduera, Ghibelline leader bribed by the French to betray Manfred, King of Naples. Tesoro de Becceria, a Ghibelline of Pavia, beheaded by the Florentine Guelphs for treason in 1258. Gianni de Soldanieri, noble Florentine Ghibelline who joined with the Guelphs after Manfred's death in 1266. Ganelon, betrayed the rearguard of Charlemagne to the Muslims at Roncesvalles, according to the French epic poem The Song of Roland. And Tebaldello de Zambrasi of Fenja, a Ghibelline who turned his city over to the Bolognese Guelphs on November 13, 1280. The poets then see 2 heads frozen in one hole, one gnawing the nape of the other's neck. Canto 33. The gnawing sinner tells his story. He is Count Ugolino, and the head he gnaws belongs to Archbishop Ruggieri. In the most pathetic and dramatic passage of the Inferno, Ugolino describes how he conspired with Ruggieri in 1288 to oust his nephew, Nino Visconti, and take control over the Guelphs of Pisa. However, As soon as Nino was gone, the archbishop, sensing the Guelphs' weakened position, turned on Ugolino and imprisoned him with his sons and grandsons in the Torre dei Gualandi. In March 1289, the archbishop condemned the prisoners to death by starvation in the tower. Round 3 Ptolemaea. The third region of Cocytus is named after Ptolemy, who invited his father-in-law Simon Maccabeus and his sons to a banquet and then killed them. 1 Maccabees 16. Traitors to their guests lie supine in the ice while their tears freeze in their eye sockets, sealing them with small visors of crystal. Even the comfort of weeping is denied to them. Dante encounters Fra Alberigo, one of the jovial friars and a native of Faenza, who asks Dante to remove the visor of ice from his eyes. In 1285, Alberigo invited his opponents, Manfred, his brother, and Albergetto, Manfred's son, to a banquet at which his men murdered the dinner guests. He explains that often a living person's soul falls to Ptolemaea before he dies. Before dark Atropos has cut their thread. Then, on earth, a demon inhabits the body until the body's natural death. Fra Alberigo's sin is identical in kind to that of Branca di Aurea, a Genoese Ghibelline who, in 1275, invited his father-in-law, Michel Zanche, seen in the 8th circle, Bolger 5, and had him cut to pieces. Branca, that is, his earthly body, did not die until 1325. But his soul, together with that of his nephew who assisted in his treachery, fell to Ptolemaea before Michel Zanche's soul arrived at the Bolger of the Baratas. Dante leaves without keeping his promise to clear Fra Alberigo's eyes of ice. And yet I did not open them for him, and it was courtesy to show him rudeness. Canto 34. Round 4 Judeca, the fourth division of Cocytus, named for Judas Iscariot, contains the traitors to their lords and benefactors. Upon entry into this round, Virgil says, Vexilla regis prodeunt inferni. The banners of the king of hell draw closer. Judeca is completely silent. All of the sinners are fully encapsulated in ice, distorted and twisted in every conceivable position. The sinners present an image of utter immobility. It is impossible to talk with any of them. So Dante and Virgil quickly move on to the center of hell.